and welcome once again to Illuminated Page. Tonight we return to the pages of the Horror on the Orient Express, a Call of Cthulhu 7th edition adventure from Chaosium. I am your conductor, your keeper, whatever. I am, I am the thing. My name is Rue, or Roxy, whichever you prefer. I will answer to both. And I am joined tonight by my wonderful cast of players, who I am so thankful for. Tonight, let's go around the horn. We'll start at the top and we'll say hi, Alyssa.
Hey, everybody. My name is Alyssa. You can find me on the interwebs at Alyssa Appleton or here on Twitch at Brick and Switch. And I am playing Cleo, who is our resident occultist.
And right next to Alyssa, we have Alla.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alla, and I am playing Emily Bront, who is our war veteran and party babysitter.
Yes, and we have learned that we do need. Right below Alla, we have Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Quiett. You can find me all over the internet as Quiett. That's like it's normally spelled, but with an extra T at the end. And I have no idea. I'm playing Johanna, and Johanna has no idea what a banana costs. It's probably $10 though.
I missed the time when we talked about how much a banana costs. So I like every time this joke comes back up, I'm like, that's a thing. That is a thing now.
It's a reference. Yeah, it's a reference to Arrested Development. They're so rich they have no idea what a banana costs.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yep. See, my rich family that I stan is the shits, or the Rose family.
And they also own a banana stand where they sell bananas.
They do. There's always money in the banana stand. I did watch the first 4 seasons of Arrested Development. It's just been a long time ago.
No, that's fair.
So my brain just overwrote them, I guess. My bad. Next to Matt, we have Shawn.
I'm Shawn. I'll be playing Kelsey Haskins, resident skeptic, locksmith, and more. You can find me here on Twitch and in our Discord as Bink26. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagrams under the same name.
Thank you. Just a second, I'm getting all my crap together because I spent the whole pre-show just gabbing away about office supplies because I'm that person. So
and burgers.
In addition to Call of Cthulhu 7th edition, we are using the variations available to us in Pulp Cthulhu, also from Chaosium. We got our code fixed, right? We got our code fixed, so we'll be doing a giveaway at break tonight of a PDF of Pulp Cthulhu from Chaosium. Thank you so much, Chaosium, for that. They do not sponsor this stream in any way, but they did give us a little freebie to hand out to some lucky viewers, so please stay tuned for that. We'll throw you out a keyword right before break, and you'll enter that in the chat one time, and we will have a little drawing. So thank you so much for tuning in. Just a real quick overlook at what we're going to be doing this week. Tomorrow night, Monday, at 7 p.m., we have The Voyages of, all times I'm going to give are Eastern. By Leaps and Bounties is on Tuesday, which is a 7th Sea show. I should have said The Voyages of is our Star Trek Adventure show, so get your Trek on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Matt is the GM of that show. By Leaps and Bounties.
Rob is running.
Oh yeah, Rob is running tomorrow night. I forgot about that. Well, Matt is the showrunner, so that's his brain baby. And then Tuesday night we have By Leaps and Bounties at 8 p.m. You can find me playing on that show and Alla also playing on that show. 2 very different characters that don't know how to deal with each other yet. And then our GM on that is Danielle Delisle, written for Onyx Path. Third Eye Games. I think she's written a little bit for Modiphius, or at least for John Wick Presents, which for the 7th Sea game. And then we also have Growing Shadows is coming back on Thursday night for our 2nd episode this season, which is our teen ninja adventure using Ninja Crusade, where we all just came back 4 years later. I'm in that show too because I was one of the original people that was always here, so I am just in everything. And then on Saturday, we're going to have a Seriously Let's Play of Battletech using the Solaris 7 setting that John, my partner, loves and has put a lot of work into. So we ask that you come out and join us for that at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So I'll give those again, and you can always check our website, Rook and Rasp, for a schedule, as well as our Discord. And I'm sure a Discord link will pop up at some point in chat. We'd love to have you if you want to just hang out with us during the week. We're a bunch of nerds that talk about a bunch of nerdy stuff and what we're cooking and what we're reading. And our Wordle scores for every day. So
always our Wordle. Oh, I got to post my Wordle score.
We're super serious
Wordle
about
is taken over.
Yeah.
We're super serious about Wordle. We don't give spoilers. We might offer a hint if we think it's really hard, but generally we're real good about it, and we just lift each other up in our Wordle woes. So,
I started playing it because of y'all.
It's addicting, isn't it?
It's fun,
It is.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The hardest part about Wordle is waiting for that 24-hour turnover.
Yeah.
Waiting for that midnight turnover. Yeah, it's which I've been doing mine at like 3 o'clock because I've been working, and I don't know what it is, but I find that I work better when everybody's asleep. Like, I could work during the day when everybody's gone, but it's not the same. It's like I see the sunshine. My animals are all up and moving around. And I'm like, I want to go play with them. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, done. Here, have my projects. Get them off my desk. So anyway, I think that's everything that I had to announce. If I think of something, I'll just pop in. So without further ado, allow me to recapitulate recent events. Our heroic investigators, somewhat unsure why they're remaining together, met with Professor Smith at the Oriental Club on Thursday afternoon. That was January the 4th, I believe, of 1923. He told them a troubling tale from his youth, unsettled by an overhanging feeling of dread at the banquet the previous night. He requested to meet with them again at his home this weekend, but on Friday, and then on Friday they had a lackluster meeting with Professor Hyam of the Archaeology Department at the Imperial College, because she had never heard of the Brothers of the Skin, which was something that they had gotten from the bookseller. There was a man inquiring about that, I believe, at the booksellers. And now, let's join our friends on the morning of January 6, 1923, as they gather around a small piece of news buried in the London Times. So, that piece of news, I was going to read it again at the top of the show. Oh, one quick disclaimer for the audience. When Professor Smith gave his story last week about the blood red fez, which I believe I heard one of my players saying that was like etched into their brain now after that tale last week. When he retold that story, I made a mistake. I said that took place in Cheapside in London. That is not accurate. It took place on Dunbar Street in Whitechapel. I transposed some things in my notes. That's on me. So, and there's a reason why I wanted to make that point. So, bear with me. I have a lot of crap in my head. so the piece of news that oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so instead of being in a poor flop house indifferent to screaming, they were just in a greedy house that was like, oh, well, it's money, so let's ignore the scream from the rich people.
Right. Exactly. They just paid I think it was Mrs. Grimm. Yeah. They paid her a handsome sum to ignore any activities that were happening in that room. Whitechapel, I don't know a lot about Whitechapel except Jack the Ripper. So it's probably not the nicest area either. It's probably because there were, I guess, for the time, a lot of prostitutes, right? Because that was his stomping grounds and that was his prey of choice. So by nobility standards, I'm sure it's not considered. It's got a fancy name, but maybe not a fancy reputation. So the piece of news that they are focused on, there were actually 2 articles in the newspaper. There was the front page headline, but then there was also Professor's Home Burns, Fears for His Safety. Professor Julius Arthur Smith, a figure well known in academia, was sought today following the burning of his St. John's Woods home under mysterious circumstances. Missing also is Dr. Smith's manservant, one James Beddoes. Witnesses saw a man resembling Beddoes run from the house just before the fire broke out. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Dr. Smith or Beddoes is requested to contact Detective Sergeant Rigby at Scotland Yard's Arson Division. So, they had just seen that, and when we left off last week. So let us go to them now. How are y'all reacting to this piece of news?
Well, I guess we won't be going there this weekend.
So it burned last
Be still
night.
good.
I believe so. Yeah, it doesn't really. I would assume so since it's in the news this morning. Burned sometime last evening.
The professor may be in imminent danger, if he is not already dead.
Sounds like it's a good possibility of that.
So the question is, do we track down Beddoes or do we try to track down the professor? Because the article actually says they witnessed Beddoes running from the burning house.
I think
Well, they witnessed someone that looks like Beddoes running
True.
from the house.
Where did we get the 3 names? The 3 people with the same name?
That was from the front page article.
That was from the front page article. Would you like me to reread that one?
Yeah,
They are
I
in the
apologize.
handouts folder too if you ever need to refer to those.
Oh, yeah, I can just look at that. That's fine.
Yeah, there was also, for viewers that might just be tuning in tonight and did not see last week, there was also an article in the newspaper the headline saying, "Man dies 3 times in one night. 3 bodies in a hotel. Each man carries the same identity." So there were 3 individuals carrying bona fide papers showing their different travel routes, named Mehmet Makriet of Islington.
And Makriet is the same last name as the guy from Constantinople that started the cult, right?
Correct. Professor Smith did mention that he had had dealings with a Selim Makriet many years ago, some 30 years prior, and a cult that he had began that was interested in archaeological finds and things of that nature. He knew very little about the cult. He did not really think that. Professor Arthur seemed to think that Selim Makriet was just someone who, had an interest in things, was a fraud, liked to get his hands on things that he shouldn't have. Says the man digging up archaeological finds and probably taking them back to England.
But that was a nobler purpose. He wasn't getting rich off of them.
Well, of course.
He's got a nice
Academia.
house.
Academia.
Yeah, it's academia.
So, do you guys have anything you would like to do? So, once you get this, is there anywhere you'd like to go? Like to look at today? While
And can I roll? Oh, I need dice.
I was opening my character sheet too. I forgot about
Might be
that.
super helpful if I had my dice out. Can I roll in an idea of what the best way would be to track down Dr. Smith if he went into hiding? Because we don't know any of his connections. We don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. You know that here, just a second. I had this in front of me. You know that he likes to hang out at the Oriental Club, that's where you met him the other night.
Yeah, we made such a great impression when we left there.
Yeah, you can actually go out. Yeah, you can also go out to St. John's Wood and check out the remains of the home if you'd like to.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
You know that he had an office at the University of London. He was a professor. Yeah, those are a few places that you can check out that you would know from just incidental things.
Just straight.
In knowing him the last couple years, that you would know that those are places where you could find perhaps some more information.
Would Scotland Yard allow us onto a theoretically active crime scene?
I
think the better question
is, we were there.
Is Scotland Yard there to stop us?
Well, I mean, you never know.
That is the question. It is, at this time in history, I don't think it's, I don't think they really put up the tape or anything like they do now.
His house is in an area called St. John's Wood.
Yes. I'll be honest, from the reading of the, anything where that's mentioned, I couldn't tell if St. John's Wood was the name of his house or if that was the area wherein his house was, because
it's a district in London.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, because sometimes English houses have names, and it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what. But yes, it is in St. John's Woods, or St. John's Wood.
Well, I think we should go check out his home. If there is any evidence to be found there, or perhaps he is still in the area and might see us as allies. If he's in hiding in the close vicinity, he's not a particularly fast man.
It's true.
It's true. He does have a particular gait and a cane.
I mean, and then the second stop would be to maybe go to his office and see what we could find there.
Absolutely.
Do we potentially want to split up to do this, because whoever did this to his house could have been or will be going to his office?
It's a good
It's
point.
likely.
And that also means that if we split up, then we are going to be even less prepared to handle any more occurrences of Marquettes.
Well, you are not incapable with a pistol,
No.
so that is generally frowned upon in England. I think even at this time.
Yes,
That's
you
why
do
it's-
need to remember that we're not in cowboy land anymore.
That's why it's well hidden and I haven't used it yet.
That's the thing that always gets me about the Cthulhu Adventures, is how much time they spend in Europe just waving around firearms, and I'm like, is that okay? Because it's not okay now. It's not okay.
I would suggest that splitting up seems more dangerous, but it would cover ground faster, and I think that time is of the essence if we're going to secure the professor, if he can be found. I trust Miss Brandt's abilities, and Mr. Haskins, I believe that you have shown that you have enough skill as well that each of you could split up with one or the other of us. I don't mean to speak poorly of you. Here's the name I've forgotten. Sorry, Miss Dandridge, but I don't know that you're. I think that the between the four of us, the two of us are the less likely to hold our own in a dangerous situation.
Well, it depends the situation, but I tend to agree.
True. So I think that
She was-
perhaps. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Miss Dandridge was quite effective in the subcellar of the lighthouse a couple years ago, but
That's true.
it was a different type of fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
So perhaps Miss Brandt and I would go to the office. Academia is my specialty. And then
Personally, I would prefer to go to the house, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you and Miss Dandridge, you would be able to see if there were any kind of occult activities around the house. You would be the most likely to, at least.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion.
I'm inclined to agree.
Let us set a meeting time and place, just to ensure that we don't have cell phones. So
Back at that. So this is
This is over.
still fairly early in the morning.
Whatever time all of you would have been up and reading the paper.
Then it's like 2:00 because the Countess didn't get up till like,
That's
1.
It's probably not that late, but
like 10, 11.
yeah.
Well, then I say we meet back here then by, say, 5, and then if the other party's not back by 5:30, we go looking for them.
Makes sense.
nothing
That
like
works.
a good old party split.
Yeah, I know.
This is gonna be
Nothing
great.
bad is going
Here in
to
episode
happen.
3.
Didn't
Hey, it
take
took
us
you-
long to get here.
Yeah, we really haven't had big party split. Well, except for that time Kelsey ran off by himself to handle some business.
To handle business.
Handle business.
Business.
So, all right, sounds good. So we have Emily and Johanna checking out the office at the University of London, and then we have Cleo and Kelsey checking out his home, or what's left of it. So let's go ahead, as you all set to, whether getting, ready, and if you weren't in outside clothes by then. Pajamas were a big thing in the 20s. I don't know if y'all have ever, like, when I was researching my character for the last Illuminated page thing, like, there was, like, evening wear pajamas. And it's quite nice, quite elegant. Like, I was like, oh yeah, my character definitely wears those pajama trousers and the evening pajamas. And they're like silks and nice fabrics and very flowy, and it was just different. It was a different.
How far we fallen from like jogging shorts and t-shirts for nightwear?
I mean, I remember the first time I saw a girl wear pajama pants to school, and I was like, "What? Do you not have clothes? What is wrong?" But now it's just a thing. I wear pajama pants places because I'm like, no, nobody deserves my full attire. You can
Comfort
just deal with me
is-
and my
Yeah.
Comfort reigns supreme. That's why this world is going to hell in a handbag.
Right.
So once you all get ready for the day and you set out, I'm going to go ahead and go with Cleo and Kelsey, and let's go ahead and start at the professor's home. So
Right.
you make the journey, unless you would rather me wait. You okay? Okay. It looked like you made, I guess, okay, face, Kelsey. But, yeah, so you guys make your way to St. John's Wood. As we've learned, thanks to Matt, it is a district in London. So, where I'm sure there are plenty of houses, probably upper middle class, I would say. The professor was not lacking in any way financially, so... and you are greeted. You find the house easily. You follow the trail of smoke that is still kind of wisping up into the sky. And you find burned timbers and blackened stone and smoking ash are all that remains of the professor's townhouse. Looking around, Kelsey, you probably spend a lot of time looking more with your eyes, whereas Cleo, you're looking with your eyes and things, but you're also looking for any kind of sensing of a presence of occult nature or
Energy probing.
Yeah, you're looking for the aura of the home.
I'm looking for anybody that's skulking about.
Sure. And there are, you do see people as they're walking by kind of stopping and going, oh,
Right.
I'm not going to say that there's a crowd that is gathered there, but it is definitely a bit of a spectacle. To see this at this, and there really aren't any police around. To them, you see fire bottles thrown through windows, and you're pretty sure that's what caused the fire. You get the impression that seeing that the police were also pretty sure, especially the article did mention that they have an arson investigator on it, so they've already determined what happened here. They don't have any specifics about the who's, but they definitely have made a judgment call of what happened, and now they're just looking for anyone with information. So you're able to kind of walk around without too much hampering by the police.
And then the fire was pretty much contained to this house. I mean, it wasn't like it took out, since it was a townhouse. I'm imagining crowded, close houses on each side, but
sure, a lot of the homes in England even today are kind of, they feel like what we would call townhouses or condos, where they're kind of attached on both sides. But yeah, so go ahead, as you're looking around, go ahead and give me some spot hiddens.
yeah, that is a 5.
Did you use your bonus?
Oh yeah,
Kelsey? Okay.
yeah. It was either an 80 or a 5.
Okay, wow, so that's an extreme success.
Yeah.
As you're looking through and seeing again all the burned out stuff that's in there, you're pretty sure if there were any books or papers here that you could look through, there's nothing that you could recover. You might find some some burned out husks of books. Any of you ever play Myst?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember in the very beginning when you get into that main library on the island, some of the books you could open and read about because they were his journals and stuff. But remember, all the rest of the books were just like water damaged and burned, and the pages were just That's pretty much what you're looking at here.
So the maps the Countess was wanting to see that he apparently had at the house would be gone too. I mean, there's no fragments or remnants or anything like that.
Nah, it is well burned. Actually, as you're going around, you actually do find a policeman sifting through some things at the back of the house. And you kind of startle him. He doesn't expect anybody else to be poking around. But this is a very dangerous place for you to be. What's you doing?
We actually had Miss Dandridge and I had a appointment with the professor this morning, and we had read in the paper that his house had gone up, and we were wanting to come and check on him. We were hoping that he escaped.
You had an appointment with the professor, you say?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And what might I ask was this appointment pertaining to? And I will say that you get the impression from this guy that he is very much probably not Inspector Rigby, the arson investigator. That he's probably just some beat cop who's got assigned to kind of look for anything that might be there. And he having you there now to question, he feels like he might get a little edge and a little excitement.
Okay.
We were guests at the Challenger lecture the other night, and we had a meeting with him about what he spoke about. Cleo sort of like jumps in and is like, this.
We were actually part of it.
Trust.
We were actually part of an investigation he did in the States 2 years ago, was it? Yeah,
it was
actually 2 years. We were part of an investigation he did in the States 2 years ago, and he invited us over here for the lecture. Miss Dandridge here was instrumental in the investigation, and he just wanted to pick our brains to say.
Couple of Americans. He wanted Professor Smith, the highly renowned Professor Smith of the University of London wanted to pick your brains.
Oh, I know the horror.
I just... Well, as I said, this is very dangerous. You shouldn't be poking around here. There's nothing to find anyway. It's clearly somebody started this fire. I bet it was that old man. Everybody says they saw him running away. I mean, they were both old men, but his manservant, the guy was always with him.
Oh, you think he started the fire?
Who else was gonna come after the professor? But the old man wanted. I bet the other old man wanted his money. It's always about money, or women, and neither of them had either. Professor's bird dropped off years ago.
So it wasn't about money if neither of them had either of those things. That's literally what you just said.
No. Neither of them had women. Neither of them had ladies. So it's either about money or women in these kinds of things. Well, I've never seen anybody burn down a house for either, but maybe some insurance. Maybe could be an insurance fraud.
I bet it would be. I think, back home we had a arsonist that was going around and setting people's houses on fire, trying to steal their insurance money. You should probably take that to your captain.
Really?
Yeah.
The thing is,
I think you might be onto something.
Huh? Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that. I'm not gonna mention that it came from an American. I'm sure that sort of thing happens in America all the time as a country of criminals. But
would that be Australia?
You are a clever Yank. Okay. Well, try not to touch anything. It might fall down on you. What's left. So as he throws a book or a piece of wood down on the pile, he just tosses it. Don't let me catch you running around there again. It's lunchtime, and he dusts off what ash
As he
can
leaves,
off of his
Cleo
hand.
goes, boo. Like, as he goes to leave, she's like, boo.
And he jumps a little bit and then makes his way away.
And I'm sure he's off to crack the case, Cleo.
He
you
nailed
know
it.
But yeah, other than that, there's really you find fire bottles everywhere. It looks like it was thoroughly. There's no. How do I say this? There's no questioning that it was set on fire intentionally.
So
It wasn't like an accident. It's not like a fire left in a grate,
Right.
what got out of hand or relit. This was a purposeful thing.
with the amount of fire bottles, we would get then the idea that this was probably multiple people working together to do this.
Potentially,
or...
it is enough. I mean, it's all around the house, and it looks like of course, they only did the lower floor, but fire went up. So,
do you think it's worth
just
going
one person like dragging bottles down the street in like a bag?
Could be. Yeah,
I mean, it could be. I'm gonna write it off.
It's just skee ball from the sidewalk, just rolling them up. Woo!
I'm gonna be looking at the ceiling from where we are, and do you think it's worth going upstairs to see if there's anything up there?
Do I think it's worth it? Yes. Do I think it's safe? No.
Well, safe and worth it are two different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go carefully upstairs. I won't speak for you. I'm gonna start carefully making my way up the stairs.
Okay, in looking at the stairs, there are stairs still there. But sorry, I shouldn't have been talking while my mouth was covered. There are stairs still there, but they are not all of them look weight bearing. And the house is making a lot of racket around you that says it might not be worth continuing. But you can. I'm gonna have you make a dex check.
Theo like stands at the bottom of the stairs.
Like you're holding it, like holding the ladder.
Like she's like holding her hands out, like.
I don't. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Give me that dex check.
All right. Okay, 37. So regular success.
Okay, so a couple of boards kind of feel like they're given away under you as you take a step, but you kind of, as carefully as you can manage, holding on to what's left of the wall on one side and the wall on the other side. You do make your way upstairs. There are great burned out holes in the floor in the hall there, and there are rooms, but you don't really see a way to get all the way down the hall. But you can check a couple of the rooms right at the top of the stairs that aren't as badly, like the doors you can reach, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I'll holler down. You can try to come up here, but we can't get down the hall at all. I'm going to check a couple of the rooms real quick that I can get to, but if you just want to holler if someone comes in.
Yeah, there's and in fact, you can up there at the top, Kelsey. You can see blue sky through it. It burned out the top. It's open air bed sit kind of establishment. Now. Yeah. So the first room on your left is a small sleeping area, like a small bedroom, or I guess an average sized bedroom. It is a single sleeper, and it is nicely appointed, and there are some things in there, but there's like a photograph of Beddoes and Smith that has survived the fire on the dresser. Looking around, you see a few things. You get the impression like the clothing and stuff that you see in the wardrobe is more befitting to Beddoes. So you think this is probably Beddoes' room.
He had a picture.
I'm actually going to grab the picture.
Okay.
And put it. We're talking like 5x7.
Yeah, it's like a small. You can take it out of the frame if you want, and
I'm gonna leave it in the frame right now. Stick it in my pocket.
Okay.
On my jacket, and I'll go across the hall. You know what? I'll do a quick look check in here to see if there's anything else that pops out.
Okay.
Yes, no.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Well, go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Okay. Where's my spot hidden? I didn't have to look up the 5 because I knew that was good. Regular success.
Regular success.
Yeah.
You see some letters, but they're pretty badly burned, like a bundle of letters, like older letters. You poke around in the fire grate a little bit, and there's nothing of note.
Okay.
But yeah, you're confident that this is Beto's room, but you don't see anything really amiss or anything out of place. And then is a door across the hall that you can check.
Yeah, I'll go check it. Making my way carefully.
It is a washroom. And it's got standard wash stuff in it. It's but the wallpaper is peeling from where the glue got too hot, and it's
Blue sky.
pretty sooty and ashy, and it doesn't look like it's going to yield much for you.
And then there's no way to get any further down, correct? That was it.
That was really all you could get to, yeah. And as you're up there, you do hear, and Cleo, you hear it too. It sounds like the house is going to just come right down. What's left standing. So you, especially you, Kelsey, having gotten into quite a few places, and probably not all of them have been up to code. You know the sounds of imminent collapse if you poke around a little bit too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Let's go down the stairs.
Okay.
While he's doing that, Cleo's gonna take, if these bottles that you say are around, she's gonna take one of the bottles, and I don't even know, maybe this would be like a medium skill. I would like to see if she can get any sense of what happened here. Through a sense of energy, through a sense of like images in her head, like any outside sense.
Sure. So, is there a good roll that I could have you make for that?
Were it me and I didn't have a player with medium as a skill, I would use POW, honestly.
I do have medium.
You do
we
have
added
medium?
that as we talked about it during the lighthouse. We added it after as a skill.
Okay, that's my bad. I forgot about that. Yeah, let's go ahead and give me a medium roll.
Okay.
Not a small, not a large, just a medium.
Just a medium. A regular.
So
okay, that's a regular success.
Fantastic. Okay, so as you're kind of reaching out with your senses to see if you can pick up on anything beyond what you see, the smoke and the ash and the blackened timbers, you start to get like the hair on the back of your neck stands. You feel goose flesh raise on your arms, and you feel like you are not afraid, but you get an intense fear, a feeling that in the house around you, as you're sifting through and walking through, there was an overwhelming sense of fear kind of tainted this place, potentially in its final moments, or like to the point that it either was very strong recently or these men lived in fear for years. And if you want to give me a psychoanalysis roll, I can be a little bit more specific on that.
I literally rolled the exact same thing. That's hilarious. That's nice. A regular success.
Nice. Knowing what you have, at least experiencing to some degree, Professor Smith and Beddoes in person many times, you never got the impression that, like, you don't think that you would have missed out on that kind of lingering fear any of the other times you met them if it was something that they were constantly living in. So you do believe that this overwhelming sense of dread and fear is very recent to the property. You're getting impression that, and it's not a really definable fear, it's just fear of something happening.
as Kelsey, comes down, she will share that information with him.
Just give me another dex check, or give me a dodge roll.
Dodge
Shawn.
roll?
Yeah.
Oh, great. The roof's coming down. Oh. Why? I failed it. It's 98.
We
I
have
can't even look
rerolls.
We do, and I completely forgot, guys. If I was gonna wait, let's wait until after this scene. But we will go ahead and do our luck advances that you should have gotten at the top of the hour. I forgot to put it in my notes again. So 98 on that. Yeah, would you like to re-roll it?
I don't know if I want to waste it for this.
We have like 3.
Well, those are table re-rolls.
Okay.
Do you have 3? I know you have 2, I believe. And
then
somebody
one was
can
Bob.
always
Edna
buy
in
you
the
one in
chat
chat.
just gave us another one.
It's
Okay,
not any
then
better. It's not any better. It's a 78.
Okay. Okay. Well,
If
yeah.
it
So
was a Dex, it would have been great.
yeah, but this is your actually you catch
Yeah.
you get that little spidey sense that you have being a locksmith. Kind of you hear something start to give before it does, and you look up and part of the ceiling tiles just with an awful noise give way and come down on the stairs. They thankfully land just behind you, but you almost jumped right into them with your dodge. You missed the direction they were because they kind of, if they had fallen straight down, it would have been great, but they kind of hung on one side and then fell. And so as you tried to lunge to one side, they tried to land right on top of you. You get quite a bit of like ash and soot on your shoulder and your hair, and it's all in your face, but you are not injured in any way.
Okay.
And you make your way the rest of the way down the stairs.
I'll come down coughing, choking, kind of like smacking dust out. I don't think there's anything we're going to find here. Let's get out of here. This place is about to come down.
Yeah.
And did you tell him what you felt, Cleo?
Yeah. Sort of
Cool.
as he's descending, she would tell him, and then
And it was
shit goes down.
the fire bottles were people in fear of their lives, correct?
Yeah, she basically says, they're in the house, and I think it's fairly recent. There was just a sense of almost overwhelming fear.
And as we're walking out, I'll pull the picture out and show it to Cleo and be like, I don't think it was Beddoes. This was on his nightstand, for God's sakes. I don't think someone that keeps a picture of his boss on his nightstand is going to murder him. Or burn the house down. And
I love the immense the change from Beddoes is sus to oh.
I mean, listen, Alyssa thinks Beddoes is a little sus. I don't necessarily think Louis does.
as
Makes
we're walking
sense, that
out, I'm going to pull the picture out of the frame. Kind of toss the frame over my shoulder into the house.
Okay.
Is there anything on the back of the picture? Written note? Is there anything?
It lists who is in the picture, which it says Julius and I, 1915, on the Thames. When you toss that frame, it knocks into something, and there's another loud as everything kind of. I don't know why I'm making Daffy Duck noises, but there's or Donald Duck noises, but yeah, there's a it's something. So it's probably time to high step it out of there.
Hope that constable wasn't back in there while we were bringing the house down.
Oh, no, he's at Scotland Yard telling him insurance fraud. I bet it was insurance fraud. I've read about many cases. I've read about many arson insurance fraud cases in the States.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm keeping the picture. I just didn't want to carry the frame around.
Okay, yeah, no
I'm
worries.
still curious on why. Was Beddoes here alone when this happened? Was Julius also here? Because it doesn't seem like they left together.
No, it doesn't. Maybe Beddoes got him to safety and he went back into the house for something important.
Picture.
Maybe, but it was still there. But I think if we're gonna find the professor, maybe we need to find Beddoes first, and that's really the only lead we have right now.
Yeah.
Which is much of a lead. It's just to find Beddoes.
Sure. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys. And we are going to head over to Emily and Johanna as they make their way to the University of London.
Are we going to do that luck?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you both give me a D6 roll, or a roll of a D6, and add that to your luck.
5. That puts me at 70.
Nice. And we haven't had any sanity losses yet in this campaign, right? So, yeah, you guys are good on
Not that I'm aware of.
Not yet. There's still time.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time at this point.
Surprised we didn't lose any sanity after that Fez story.
Don't give her ideas, Shawn.
I just happened to pop into chat and notice my illustrious partner, John, bringing in Giggity into Beddoes and Professor Beddoes and Smith's relationship. There is no indication of that. There was just, that could be pure fondness.
No, John's right.
All of you
I think
rogues,
there was fondness.
you cats. I think there was extreme fondness.
We're also back to 3 rerolls thanks to the far lane.
I did see that, so I do have 3 on the table. Help me be honest, guys. Keep me honest on those. All right, so Johanna and Emily, you are at the university, and you get to the, I guess, like the office there, and the receiving area. And if you don't, I assume you don't know where his office is, so you're going to be asking. So.
I would be familiar enough with academia that I could probably navigate it, maybe?
Could probably fake it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
I mean,
you
do you want
may.
like an intelligence check on that, maybe?
Give me a navigate roll. No, yeah, give me an intelligence roll.
Suddenly I'm very scared. A navigate roll, that's
Well, it's 3
Did anybody put any points in that? No.
Probably not.
I will assist as a fellow once academic.
Sure.
That's fine.
I got a success.
Okay. What'd you get,
Yeah.
Emily?
Is it a hard successes half? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Hard success.
Fantastic. So you wend your ways through the various halls. I actually don't know if I assume the University of London has multiple buildings, but you find where his would be. He's a professor of like paraphysicality, which just blows my mind. I assume is not an actual department or class or major offered at the University of London, but we're gonna say that it is. And he's also into science and things like that. So you find your way to the appropriate building in the appropriate area, and you kind of, classes are in session. It is, the spring semester has begun, as you discovered when you were at the Imperial College 2 days before. So you wend your way through students and you find the like core of offices there, and yeah, you do find Professor Smith's office fairly easily. It's got a nice sign next to the door declaring who usually sits there, and the door is closed. But you're welcome to try the knob.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try the handle.
It is locked.
Is there a secretary for the area, or?
Sure. Excuse me, may I help you?
Yes. Hi, I am Countess Johanna Rinaldi-Stadt. I was hoping to speak with the professor. We had spoken with him at the Challenger lecture the other night, and he asked us to come by.
Well, have you not heard the news then? We were just notified this morning that the professor is missing. I mean, he would not normally be in office today, but there was a small bit in the paper, and yeah, it sounds like Professor Smith is missing. He won't be in.
Oh, that is I'm very sorry to hear that.
So am I. He was such a sweet man. Very, very sweet man. Oh, and that Beddoes. What a lovely man.
I will turn on the charm with her, and I am concerned. He had some notes for some research he was doing for me that are kind of time sensitive that I needed to grab. Would it be possible if I could check his office for those?
I'm not supposed to do this, but... Well... Do you think it... I mean... Was it something that he would have wanted done? For sure. I mean, it's something he was working on. His research was very important to him.
Oh, we actually worked together in Massachusetts some years ago at the Lighthouse. We worked together several times. He's a good friend of mine.
He showed me some photographs from that experience there in Massachusetts.
You might actually have seen me in some of those. I was very poorly...
I don't remember your face. Maybe, but sorry. If it will help Professor Smith, and I do hope they find him soon. He's so dear to the university, and, well, just a moment. And she sits back down in her chair, and she opens a drawer and pulls out a ring of keys, and she looks around a bit, and she proceeds to go over to the door, and she unlocks it. She says, I really can't let you stay in here long. Shut the door behind you when you go in, and knock before you come out so I can make sure that nobody's here, because if one of the other administrators sees, or even one of the other professors, it might not be well.
Thank you, dear. Yeah, then I'll go in. I assume Emily's going in with me, right?
I will just assist.
We did get a luck advance in chat from Tentacle Greg.
Okay, well, thanks, Greg. Go ahead, roll that D6.
Can we go over the cap?
Huh?
If we're at our cap maximum, can we go over that?
Your cap maximum should be 100. We just have a starting luck. We can always go above the starting luck.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, go above. There was a wonderful door shutting sound that just happened, but at first I didn't realize what I was listening to, and so I just thought that there was a. I thought it was a little. So then I realized it was a door shutting. I was like, oh, too many fart jokes exist in my brain at one time.
That's untrue. The appropriate number of fart jokes exist.
The appropriate amount. I also see, Shawn, that you are gifted. You gifted a sub to Alla. Those community
thing
subs.
Of Twitch.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, though. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh no, John! Stop with your Brokeback Whitechapel. You are being. Go run sound.
Plus, they're in St. John's Wood. Let's get the location correct.
That's right.
Once we're in the office,
I feel like there's a worse joke in there, Matt. I feel like there's a worse joke in there.
Oh yeah, there definitely is. There 100% is. Once we get into the office, I want to, I don't know, start going through what's on his desk.
Okay. So yeah, you get into the room, and it is a very nicely appointed, very ordered room. You are easily able to kind of see he's got all of his notebooks, all of his like journals and things labeled. Go ahead and just for grins, give me a spot hidden. I was thinking perhaps a library use, because there are quite a lot of books in this room.
My library use is far better.
I mean, whichever you would like, a success will find you what you need.
I'm gonna spend 8 points of luck to get a success.
Okay.
And I got a hard success on my spot hidden. for.
Nice. Okay, so in amongst the books here, which there are several reference materials, there are some personal books, as I said, some items, or some journals and maybe diaries. You actually find a diary that is unlabeled on the side. And pulling it from the shelf, if you flip through some pages, you are regaled in kind of a hurried handwriting. Again, you find his notes and dated in 1893 from the incident that he told you about the last time. So you are once again regaled with the exact order of events as apparently he could retell them in his diary at the time of the Blood Red Fez and the demise of young Matthew Pook at on Dunbar Street in Whitechapel.
Is there anything on his loose on his desk or in his drawers that would be more recent?
You do not see anything. You see, like, on his desk is an appointment book where he has written some things down. And you see that flipping through it, you see the Challenger lecture, the banquet listed. You see some notes on his blotter about all of you coming. Securing airfare, or not airfare, but passage, whether it was airfare or boat, from America for Kelsey and Cleo, addresses for all four of you, things like that.
Can we check if there's any keys or anything else? Thought processes being if he has another a hideout or maybe a locker or something.
As far as this office goes, and you're going through all the drawers in his desk, do either of you have locksmith? No?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, the locksmith isn't there. For grins, I'm going to say the desk drawers, Emily is able with a little bit of strength, if there's one that's locked, she's able to kind of wrench it open. It makes a bang as she does it, but nobody comes to check it out. Going through the desk, you find very few other personal items. It's all class schedules, curriculum. You do find a few like the slide reels, the old slide projector reels. You find some of that, which you saw him using. They're in their box, I guess for presentation in classes and things like that. But there's no research here, and you feel as though he must have done that somewhere else. He did not do the bulk of his research here in the office. This is just where he met with students and colleagues.
What is a blotter?
Oh, so what I'm thinking of is on a desk you'll have a mat with paper in it, or they usually put calendars in them now. It's a desk the blotter it's actually the leather part that goes under the paper to if your ink bleeds through, it doesn't get on the wood of the desk.
Where are the notes about our addresses?
He scribbled some on the paper on his desk. It looks like he was hastily making notes to make sure in the address book, there are arrival times for the two that came from America. There's just little information like that it looks like he was at least trying to be mindful of when you all would be in town so he could meet with you.
I would like to try and remove anything that points to where I live.
Of course.
So if that means I need to steal the address book, I'm already taking the journal, and rip up the blotter, I can do that.
I was gonna say you can rip the pages out, and whatever you need to do, just that's fine. Nobody's in here to watch you. It's 1923. There's no security, and the lady outside is not bothering you.
Okay.
Would he have another space to work in?
I mean, he probably has an office at what was his home.
Maybe a laboratory?
Perhaps. I'm not
I'm
sure
not
if his
I'm not sure what
research.
his work entails.
Yeah, I'm not sure if his research. He would probably have a dark room somewhere to develop those pictures. Maybe he used the one here at the university, but you can't do a lot of work in those, I don't think.
Perhaps the secretary might know.
Perhaps. I'm going to tell her that we have the. We did not recover the notes, and he must have had them at home. But we need to make sure that we take these things with us, and then I'll point out the stuff that I've grabbed.
Okay. So
How
you were
full
saying
is
this
your
to her?
skirt? Because
I'm wearing pants.
Oh, we can hide them in my skirts.
Okay.
Do you knock to exit the room?
Yeah.
When you knock, it's a moment, but you do hear the key in the lock again, and she opens the door, and she's like, "Okay, I hope, did you find what you needed?"
I didn't see anything. I'm concerned that they may be at his home, so we may need to head there next.
Oh dear, that was where his home was burned. That's the other part of the news. I should have told you. His house is burned down. She suddenly became Mrs. Doubtfire in the amount of time that it took you guys to look for that stuff. It was the oh dear, and it just came out. I'm sorry. I'll fix that.
Is there a place that you know that he would go if he were in trouble like this?
Oh, I've never known Professor Smith to need anywhere to hide or anything like that. He's such a sweet man. It's just terrible and tragic that he's missing.
Besides Beddoes, does he have any close friends?
There are other professors that he would work with, but really his type of study was questionable by many. Not considered a science by the scientists, and, well, not considered like enough of the metaphysical for the metaphysics.
All right, well.
But I mean, his home would have been probably where he did most of his work. He didn't, besides the Oriental Club, but I can't imagine that any work gets done there. Some of the stories I've heard of those men. Yes. Cigars, loud music. How anyone works in that, I don't know.
I don't either. If he arrives later, just let him know that that the Countess stopped by, and I'd be happy to speak with him. He has my number whenever he has a chance to call me.
I will do so. I will let him know. And if I hear anything, is there somewhere that I can reach you?
Yes, and I'll give her my home number.
Okay. You leave a calling card?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Oh, right. Countess Rinaldi Stod, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to say it wrong.
Of course. Yes.
I'm sorry I couldn't be of any further help. I really wish that there was something else. I've not even known him to use really any of the other classrooms here. This was just where he met with students and the like.
Yes, I'm concerned. I hope that he is okay. Have they had any...
Me too.
They had any notification about if anything was found in the house?
All they said is that it was burned, and one of the other professors, Hempstead, he walks by there on his way to the university and or lives near there, and he said that there was almost nothing left.
That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, where was the fire brigade? There should always, there's one. It just doesn't make any sense that it could burn so quickly.
It doesn't.
I've seen fires catch from, like, in the grate, and old ashes and embers, but you have a moment. It's just terrible.
Agreed. Well, if you hear from him, please have him contact me. And if you hear any new updates, feel free to call. If I'm not available, one of my mates will take the call.
Of course, of course. And she looks at Emily, and I didn't catch your name, miss.
It's Bront. Emily Bront.
Miss Bront. Okay. I will, I've marked down that you visited. I will, be sure to let you know if I hear anything.
Thank you. And then I'll head out.
Okay.
How long do we have before we need to meet up with them?
I can't
you
imagine
probably...
that took too long.
No, it didn't. You guys agreed to meet at 5, so you still have the bulk of the afternoon.
As we're walking out, I'll turn to Emily. Do you think that the rag would have anything about the Pook murder? The scoop.
They might, although it's been 30 years.
Yeah, newspapers tend to keep articles, though. I'm wondering if we could stop by. Do you mind us stopping by there?
It cannot hurt, but at the same time, we need to be careful. I don't know why I'm doing the German accent, as I assume we're speaking in German to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's fine. At least you're consistent with your accent.
Hey, you can consistently be Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm good with that.
Oh, dear. All my stuff.
Hello!
Oh. Hello. No, it's been a long time since I've watched that. The only line from that movie I quote is, the whole time?
I say that all the time. I also go, oh, hello, all the time.
Yeah. Oh, Muppet.
Or it's a run by fruiting.
It's a run by fruiting. Yeah.
We'll head over to the scoop since we have time.
Okay, fantastic. We'll go ahead and do that. Let me pause real quick with y'all. And Kelsey and Cleo, did you want to do anything else, or do you just head back to the Countess's?
Do we want to try the Challengers Club? See if there's anything there?
I mean, we have time.
Yeah.
I think it's a better use of our time than just
Oriental
going
Club?
and sitting around.
Hopefully Mr. Stick-Up-His Butt isn't working the front desk when we get there.
Pretty sure that Mr. Chatham is the guy who works there most of the time. I don't remember the name I gave the other people. I know Pearson, I believe, was the boy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can smell dinner and it's driving me crazy. It smells so good. Sorry, I just can't. I couldn't not say it anymore. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to you guys. We're going to alternate, and we'll go to the Oriental Club for a moment. Kelsey and Cleo, you approach the Oriental Club, and as soon as you open the door, you see you are immediately met with a withering gaze from Mr. Stick-Up-His-Butt Chatham. And he's like, No. Once was enough. I mean...
Once is never enough.
Right, now it's twice. We're here again.
Oh. What do you even want? There's nothing here for you. Nothing.
No, there's
you are not welcome.
Well, it's not the first time I've heard that. I don't usually let it dissuade me in any means.
Well, it's going to dissuade you, Pearson. And, just bring him out. Bring him out. A few moments later, the curtain pauses, and a police officer. His hat is not on. The tall hat is not on, but he is in uniform, and he comes out and he's like, "Are these people bothering you?" Although he takes a long look at Cleo, and well, you didn't tell me one of them was a woman.
Does that make a difference?
Well,
What is a woman? What is gender?
Oh. And this, he looks completely stumped by that question because, like, the thought of that anyone questioning such things is completely foreign to his constable's mind. This is an establishment for men, of which you seem to not be one. And
Tell me
you
that.
You need to check?
And you see a flush creep into his cheeks, and
By the way, what would that mean?
You two are troublemakers. Where are the other two? I've heard about two others. Where are the other two?
You've been
Famous.
telling these horrible rumors about us.
There are two more. There are two more. Two other women. Two other ladies that they're not ladies. They're women. Two other women that were in here. One of them saying she was some sort of countess. Professor Smith is not here, and he will not get you in today.
It doesn't matter. We're actually trying to find him. Have you seen the paper?
What? Have you checked his home? No, I haven't seen the paper.
At that point, I just kind of pop my jacket and let all the ash kind of poof off of it. It's like, yeah, we've checked his home.
Burned down. It was aflame. A bit
His
ago,
home?
and now it's ash.
What?
His home.
Yes, his home. Obviously, you don't read the paper.
I don't read the paper. Why would I
Yes.
need to read the paper?
Well, then you would know that Professor Smith's home was destroyed in a horrible fire last night, and he's missing.
He looks at the constable and he's like, "I didn't hear about any fire last night." And the constable's like, I wasn't working." So, well, he's not here. He has not been here since it had to have been. Yes, it was Thursday when he met with you. He hasn't been here
Roxy,
since then.
he didn't leave with us. He stayed at the club when we left, correct?
He did.
All ill feelings aside, I know you don't like us, and we're not particularly fond of you, but can we all agree that we need to find the professor?
It would be wonderful to be able to find the professor, but he's not here.
What time did he leave on Thursday after we left? Did he stay late? Did he leave by himself?
Of course not. I've never seen him without Beddoes.
So he left with Beddoes. No one else was
yes.
with him?
No, I mean he, from what I understand, as normal, he glad-handed and met with other members of the club, but it was not. To my knowledge, he didn't meet with anybody else but you, especially not in the room that he favors. I am quite saddened to hear that he's gone, or that he's missing.
A room that he favors. Do all the club members have their own rooms, or is it just one he was particularly fond of?
It was just one he was particularly fond of. The one that you were all in.
Oh, okay.
The other night.
I'm gonna kind of glance at Cleo to see if she buys what he's saying.
Did she roll for it?
Absolutely. For this kind of thing, give me a psychoanalysis.
Okay. That's a hard success.
Oh, fantastic. He certainly seems to be truly shocked by this news, and in such a way that you don't think that he's making anything up. Whatever he's saying, he believes it to be the truth.
Yeah,
I saw him leave with no one. The other members are going to be. He was very, very sought after here. He's very witty, so droll. I mean, had the best anecdotes.
Do you? This is probably not a good question. I do not mean to disparage this fine institution, but are there any other places that you know of that he might frequent, that he might go to when a
besides
tragedy...
the famed Oriental Club? You think he might have membership elsewhere?
Well, if he's trying to hide, maybe not membership, but is there? Do you know does he have a second home other than what is in St. John's Wood?
I don't pry into the members' personal lives. That is not my area. I would not
Is he
know.
particularly fond of any other member? Did he have a close friendship with any of the other members?
I mean, again, he was very much sought after for storytelling and the like. He was always traveling, always had a fantastic tale about his adventures, but you have to understand, I spend most of my time outside this side of the curtain. I don't know everything.
I would have figured you would have known all the good scuttlebutt, though.
What
with the
is
members?
scuttlebutt?
Rumors.
I have never looked at anyone's butt.
It's a sad life to live.
Pretty sure scuttlebutt is like a Navy term, and he has no idea what.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't know what that is. But if you mean gossip,
20s term.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You mean like gossip and rumor? Not here. Not I. I would never betray our members' secrets.
Even if it's to save their life?
Well, if I knew something that would help you find him, I would surely tell you, I promise, but I know of nothing. He didn't... I mean, he had no enemies. He was loved by all.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to actually be the case.
Do they have any idea who might have done it? Pearson, bring me a paper.
Any paper. He just brings a piece of paper.
Yeah, Pearson doesn't know.
I mean, the paper, the Times, it was the Times, right, that we read?
It was the Times, indeed.
The Times mentioned arson.
Oh, really? Well, that's... No.
No, you're not going to spread this gossip, are you?
Of course not. Most of the other men in here read the paper, though, I'd wager. He has brought a paper, and he shuffles through it and finds the article, and he's like, "Oh, dear, do you think Beddoes did it? Not that soft-spoken, kind-hearted man that follows him around all the time. He was always, I always had a good time with Beddoes because, you know, he was kind of in the same position that we are. We're more or less servants, we don't get to enjoy all the perks of membership, but Beddoes did have a membership that Mr. Smith paid for. But, you know...
I look at Cleo and I'm like, I don't think Beddoes did this at all. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, well, that's good. But you know, when the police get wind of something, and that cop is still standing there, and he's like, "Oh, clearly they're not causing trouble today. You can read. It's fine." Oh, okay. And he dons his cap and he leaves.
Well,
I wish I could help you, but he's not been here, and I haven't seen Beddoes, and I don't know who you... I mean, you could ask other people. I could admit you, sir, she could not come with. But I could admit you if you would like to talk to someone else. If you'd like to speak to members of the club.
Can you provide us a list? Because I really don't want to leave my associate standing here cooling her heels in the lobby when... She's instrumental to our work.
It's not anything personal. It is just the rules of the establishment. There are other places for ladies elsewhere. But Mr. Smith didn't frequent those, so I don't know why you'd go there.
You mean these other places for the ladies, you mean like the kitchen?
I said no such thing. That came out of your head. Would you like entrance or not? If not, there are other people, and there are people like coming in and there have been people showing their cards and passing through, all of them giving Cleo a sidelong glance.
Every time she just grins.
I don't think we're getting anything more out of here, Cleo, do you?
I mean, if you want to go in there, you might get something. I can hang with this lovely gentleman and just stand here and watch people flash their cards.
All right, I'll do a quick circuit. I don't think we're gonna find anything though. Just to be honest, I'll do a quick circuit inside and see.
Go ahead and what is better, your credit rating or your persuade? Probably your persuade.
No, persuade is 10.
Oh, okay. Well,
credit rating's 30. My charm is 78. I could charm my way through.
I will let you use charm.
But credit rating is also a 30, so it's not super low, but it's not Countess level.
Never is.
Give me an idea roll. The intelligence roll, please. First.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 12. That's a hard success.
Okay. I'm going to say, just a tip, if you wanted to get in and kind of talk to these people, you do have a business card that you could flash and show and say that maybe you were working with the professor. Might also allow you to network with some of these hoity-toity fellows, if you so wanted, if that was still something on your agenda. But that's just an idea.
Agenda. New business is always good. In fact, maybe getting a few addresses of these hoity-toity fellows will make some business really good.
So yeah, if you want to take a little time and make a circuit and kind of glad hand and rub elbows with these guys and
splitting the party even further.
Although you are covered in soot, so yeah, that charm is going to come in real handy. Because they're.
I'll lean real heavily into concern for the professor.
Do it. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and give me a charm roll, and we'll see if you can.
A regular success.
Okay.
I got a 66.
Okay. When you start asking a couple questions, you approach a table that seems to be, at a lull in conversation, and one of them kind of catches your eye, or one of them looks up and sees you enter. You take that as an opening to go in and maybe you got that salesman charm. You saw an opening, there was a pause in conversation, they made eye contact, and you were in there. So you slip in and you ask after Professor Smith, and they the men at this table are smoking cigars and drinking. Even for the hour, they are drinking. It looks like possibly whiskey or some type of some liquor, and Julius is a fine old sort. I love listening to him. And the other one's like, oh, jolly good old fruit. And the other one's like, his stories of ghosts and things like that are just, what a fantasizer he is. He just can tell a tale and make a story. He should be a storyteller, not a professor. Oh, Julius, love that man, but I haven't seen him today. Have you seen him? I haven't seen him. I don't know why that guy's across the room, but he is.
He's deaf.
I haven't seen him. The music is loud.
No one has seen him, gentlemen. Do you have any inclination besides here where he might abscond to?
Well, it's finer than the Oriental Club. This is the finest club on this side of London, and the other one too.
Did just burn down his house. He may be trying to hide.
What are you talking about, burn down his house? And he kind of looks at you again. He's like, did you burn down his house? You're covered in soot and ash. What are you talking about?
Looking for him.
In a burned down house. We would have heard about that. Yeah, we would have heard about that.
You don't read the newspaper either, apparently.
Of course I read the newspaper, and he's got it, like, draped over the arm of his armchair. And he pulls it up, and he's like, it's not in here.
I tell him to turn to page whatever.
When the professor's home burns, fears for his safety. The professor's missing! And Beddoes! Oh You said you were working with him or something? You were looking after him.
Yes.
Well, where'd he get off to?
We don't know. That's what I'm trying to ask you, gentlemen, for more information about his whereabouts.
I mean, he really liked that room over there, but I haven't seen him today. I honestly don't know. He's not known for, like, keeping many friends outside. This is a club. This is an establishment where men can go and enjoy one another's company, smoke some cigars, drink some port, and, leave and never acknowledge one another outside again. It's like church.
Huh. All right. Well, you have been quite helpful.
Please, if you find out anything, let us know.
I'm gonna hand out business cards if you hear anything.
Locksmith. Chicago.
Yeah, I work. Yeah, you may have heard of my boss, Mr. I forgot. I don't know. Bamboli.
Bamboli.
The international locksmith. He's been securing items for the wealthy for decades.
What sort of items?
Anything from cash on hand to jewels.
Oh.
Papers, whatever you want. If you don't want someone to see it, we can secure it and lock it away.
What if I don't want my wife to see it?
Unless she can see through 6 inches of steel, we can secure it.
Honestly, I don't know. Some of the things she finds out, I have no idea how she figures them out. Anyway, now, I'll keep this, and he pockets your card. They all do. One of them puts it in the ashtray and stubs a cigar out on it. But the other, but yeah, you don't think they all seem very eager for news of his safety, but they don't know him, and others that have overheard kind of what has been said. One of them other people come over and like, hey, give me one of those cards, and they are interested in this locksmith. Oh, well, my friend was robbed just the other night.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
Should I go? Maybe you give me his address and I will go see if I can help him secure his stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a bit late now. It's like shutting the barn after the horses have gone, yeah?
Very true.
But you pass out some cards. You network. People really don't question your state of dress unless they really just don't like you. And when they don't like you, they just scowl at you and blow smoke in your face.
Pat my jacket near them, just trying to.
Yeah. But you're not getting much out of these guys. They don't seem to spend time with Professor Smith outside of the club. So
on my way out, I'm going to swing by that room because you're making me paranoid because you keep mentioning the room.
Okay.
I want to just take a peek in there, see if I can see anything out of the ordinary.
Sure. One of the other waitstaff shows you the room. There is nobody in there, or else you probably wouldn't have been able to look in. You're able to kind of look around, and there are a few. It's a room in a public place. You don't see that there are any personal effects left over.
The ordinary from when we were in there the other day.
Right.
Okay.
Most of the people in there don't even know about what the kind of stuff that he researches, but a few of them do mention that they saw him at the Challenger lecture. Okay. But that's about the extent. Kind of a working acquaintance.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go back out to the lounge, and everybody's eager for news, but nobody has a bit of information in there. They're what you would normally expect from rich people.
Leo has set up shop outside, and she's telling ghost stories and doing really terrible tarot readings, purposefully terrible, for anyone.
Are you in the lobby or are you outside the? Are you outside?
No, she's gone outside because he probably wouldn't allow her to do it in the lobby. So
nice,
she's outside in front, just talking to people and doing tarot readings. And anyone that looks like they're gonna go in, she's trying to flag them down and talk about Smith.
Nice.
I want to see somebody that looks like he's very disturbed by her reading and be like, "Did you get a tarot reading from the woman over there?"
Yeah, as you're
Mine
exiting
came
the
true,
club.
which she says comes true. I'm hoping she told him like he was gonna get gangrene or something.
As you're like exiting the club, there are a couple gentlemen coming in, and they're like, "Oh, how was your reading?" And you hear them talking, and you're like, "What in the hell?" And then you get outside, and you're like, "Oh, great, it's okay." This is over. Right now, Cleo, you do have a very interested, clean cut, looks like a man of some wealth. Quite interested in what you have to say, and he's probably asking you about seances and things like that, because what a hoot they are. And but you also have a couple street urchins that are like very fascinated by your cards and things, and they're like, oh, do me next, miss, do me next.
Oliver Swift showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Please, sir, another tarot reading for us. No. But yeah, it hasn't been a very fruitful information gathering venture to the Oriental Club.
And Cleo, very specifically, when she does like the street urchins, will do a real one with them.
Oh, miss.
As opposed to like the other dudes.
Blimey, that's fascinating. So,
finally, my luck's turning around.
One day, do you hear her? She says I'm gonna be the queen. But yeah, so not a lot going on there. Before we pop over to Emily and the Countess at the Scoop, we are going to take our mid-show break. So
wow.
That hour and a half it flew by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember, we are giving away a PDF copy of sorry, I'm spitting all over things. Sorry, gross. Ew. Of Pulp Cthulhu. Let's see. Our word tonight should be Doubtfire. Enter Doubtfire once in the chat, and you will be entered into a giveaway for a PDF copy of Pulp Cthulhu, a supplement to Call of Cthulhu 7th edition from Chaosium Inc. So, again, Doubtfire, one time in the chat. We're watching, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Stick with us. Appreciate y'all. See ya.
See ya.
welcome to Roll That Die there. We had a couple entrants for our Pulp Cthulhu. Let's see who evens for Greg, odds for David. So the far lane, you won a copy of Pulp Cthulhu from Chaosium. We will get you that. We will get you that code in a PM.
I don't know. The far lane sounds like a fake name. Can we even trust it?
I know. People are going to say that it was rigged because he lives in the house that I live in. But no, this was open to everybody. This was open to everybody. We are giving away one more copy next week. So, Greg, come back. Honestly, it was just the two of y'all that entered. So, if everybody else already has a copy, then you are a shoo-in next week. So yeah, we're giving away one more copy next week. So please tune in for that. We really do appreciate y'all sticking with us through the break. Looks like our numbers really didn't go down in chat, which makes me feel really good. I hope you all are enjoying the show. I hope my players are also having a good time. Once again, just real quick, rundown of what's coming this week. We have Star Trek Adventures, The Voyages of, tomorrow night at 7. Tuesday night, we have By Leaps and Bounties, a 7th Sea 2nd edition play at 8 p.m. This is all Eastern again. Thursday night, we'll have Growing Shadows, the Ninja Crusade 2nd edition at 7 p.m. So join us for all that. We got a lot going on, and we love seeing y'all in chat. And I'm not in all of those games, and even the ones that I am in, I will be in chat harassing all the rest of my players and my friends and all of you out there, because that is
breaking us in Star Trek that night.
I don't remember even what I said anymore. But
that was Kids on Bikes that you're breaking.
Kids on Bikes. Chat. Kids on Bikes. You guys had a British hobo under Madrid, Ohio, and I was like, that just doesn't make sense. But what do I know? But so let us return to our tale tonight. And so we just left Cleo and Kelsey at the Oriental Club in London, where they were looking for more information on where Professor Smith might spend some time away from home, and found very little. Just a lot of people who did seem to really love his company, but nobody that really knew much about him outside of the stories and the tales he'd tell of his adventures. They really didn't even really know much about his research. So now we're going to go back to Johanna and Emily, as they have left the University of London and the professor's office, and they are headed to the Scoop to talk to the editor-in-chief there, Mick, and see if they can find any news about that incident in Whitechapel in 1893.
Yeah, so we'll arrive. I'll enter the office. You get to the office.
It's in a small little strip of buildings. It's not it's on a city street there. It's got a little awning that comes out over the door. It announces itself as the Scoop. There's a stack of papers in a bound papers for sale out in front. There's also the headlines of the day on like a placard board. There's probably a young lad, a crier boy in like a sandwich board, talking about some of the things that are in the paper, yelling it out to people passing by. But yeah, you go in and there is a kind of bedraggled looking older fella behind the back, and it's not that he's bedraggled and that he seems like he's beset on all sides or anything, but he clearly is. He's got ink all over his fingers. He's smoking a cigarette that's kind of hanging out of the side of his mouth. He's got more than 5 o'clock. It's like 10 o'clock shadow, and he's going through some stuff. He's got a phone that he is nearby that he hangs up as you enter. Like, oh, hello, welcome to the Scoop, where news is news and the time sucks. What do you need?
I was hoping that you might be able to look back at your archives for me and maybe find an old story.
My archives, eh? Okay. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that. Do you know when?
Of course.
You know, I don't really have
18
a catalog.
1893. Looking
All
for
right.
the murder of a gentleman named Matthew Pook.
Okay. Matthew
Perhaps we can
Pook.
take everything for the year.
Take it. Well, I don't know if you could take it,
Well,
but we'll
for
go find it. You
perusing.
can take it. You can take it. Definitely.
What is the
let
English
your eyes.
word? Borrow?
Well,
peruse?
maybe. So he's like, well, yeah, the phone rings and he just kind of ignores it and he goes downstairs and well, he steps out from around the counter and he leans out the front door and he's like, Alistair, keep an eye on things while I'll be right back. All right, I'm just downstairs. Call me if you need me. Scream real loud. You got that piercing 8-year-old boy scream that I can recognize anywhere. And he leaves the boy in charge. It's downstairs.
I would like to ask Alistair for their today paper. Like, I will even buy it off of him.
1 crown, please.
Very well. I'm mostly curious to see what their interpretation of the grisly deaths at the Royal Arms are, and perhaps something about the professor there as well.
Okay, do you want to ask Alistair or do you want to ask me?
No, I'm just gonna read the paper. Like, I'm assuming they've written about those items.
Okay,
as well,
okay.
so-
I was like, are you really asking this 8-year-old?
No,
this 8-year-old boy.
Like, hey,
Well,
kid, what do you think
I've
of
read
these
this
murders?
I read about some killings down at the Chelsea Royal Arms. No. So yeah, Mick's like, oh, come on with me, and he starts to lead you down some stairs into a cellar. It's a stoop cellar. As you're going, you ask these. You're checking out the paper. He turns on a light. The paper, as he's like, well, let me look down here, and he kind of starts walking down, and it's got some wooden shelves that have stacks of they have like boxes on them that are labeled with years, and he kind of goes down and he's looking for that year in question. 30 years ago, that was before my time, if you can believe it. I know I look like a young spry lad, but really that was a long time ago. As you're reading the paper, you do find the cover of the front page of the paper definitely does talk about, again, the man who died 3 times in one night. And it's giving all kinds of details that the other paper didn't have. Is like, oh, this man, half his mustache was ripped out by some, terrible perpetrator and all this stuff. It's got all kinds of just fantastic. It reads like a pulp novel. Sorry, these voices are getting to me. No, but it is a lot more. It talks more about how they died. Some of them were missing skin. Some of them, all this stuff that is not mentioned at all in the Times article. You don't know what to believe about it, though. And I can tell you right now, if you ask Mick his opinion, he's like, well, every word of it's the truth. Every bleeding word. We are the only paper that tells the truth as the truth should be given. Shouldn't be sugar-coated and made juvenile for the delicate sensibilities of the ruling class.
Were you the reporter on the scene for this article, or someone else?
I've got sources that in the police department that give me info, things like that. I get calls. I don't do much in-person journalism. My business is run on sources.
You I assumed that Emily mentions the article and that what it describes there.
Oh yeah. You mean the skinny?
I'm not reading the paper. Emily
I
grabbed
don't
the paper and is
read.
reading.
I have people who read for me.
Exactly. But Emily, you mentioned what's in the article.
Yeah. Mostly, I'm trying to collaborate as much as I can based on like what we know from one source.
Mick, what the gentleman missing skin?
Oh, nasty business, that.
Now I know that your sources are very important and confidential.
Absolutely.
Of course, because your paper we've heard is only
Reputable.
it only has the best reputation.
Ah,
But
As it should.
I was wondering that information, that particular bit of information, I would be interested in following up with. Is it possible that you could connect me with whoever gave you that? And I will pull a note out, whatever the monetary number is, it doesn't matter, and just kind of like hold it. Not offer it to him, just kind of like hold it there.
His eyes narrow, and he looks from the note to you, and he pulls a box off of the shelf without looking, and he kind of shoves it at you with your money. He goes, "If you think I can be bought, read your damn paper and get out of my office. We tell the news here, and no one can pay me to say otherwise.
Oh no, no, sir. You misunderstood.
And I
this
don't
completely.
give up my sources."
Perhaps you could answer some questions without revealing your sources. I'd still be more than happy to compensate you for your time.
It's not about money, miss. What questions do you have? Although I printed what I know.
I'm sure that perhaps you know a little more detail than you printed, because you only have so many lines of the paper. That would
Are
be
there
my concern.
photographs by chance of the injuries? I have some medical training. I'm merely curious.
And there are photos in the paper. I didn't say that, but
Excellent.
there are photos in the paper. And you can see they all bear a resemblance to one another, and they Countess, you would note that they do look all very similar to the man that you saw at the bookstore,
Great. Super.
and
good.
that you also saw at the lecture. So
Is one of them missing his skin?
there are like parts. Like it's not like his skin has been completely removed, but there are like one of them, his arm is exposed, and there's like it looks like a strip of skin has been removed.
No, see, like this picture here, man.
That face.
I'm not as familiar. You see more of the news than I do, so you've seen, I'm sure, much more grisly things than I'm familiar with. This right here, can you tell me, does this look like it was removed with a knife? The skin here? I can roll charm. I'm more than happy to charm.
That's
this
fine.
guy.
Go ahead and roll a charm.
Out of curiosity, could I make some sort of a medicine or first aid check to see
Sure.
if I can tell?
Sure. In fact, he before you got as you guys are rolling that in our time, I will say that he takes a long drag on a cigarette. He did hand you a box of papers for part of 1893. It's not all of them, of course, but it's got some of the records and the stories that were printed. I mean, it's not necessarily like actual physical newspapers, but stories and stuff. You would be able to look through it. And he kind of scoots past you, and he's like, and he waves like, "Come with me. I'll show you the stuff that I got from from my source." And he will take you upstairs and to an office behind the counter. Alistair is still sitting there on the counter, just flipping a coin and kicking his feet. And he takes you into his office, and he opens a folder that has a picture one picture for each crime scene. And yeah, you can see that, one of the arms. And when they did post, because the Times printed photos as well, but it was really just of the faces to show the resemblance. They weren't
Classy photos.
Yeah, they weren't going to show anything gory or anything, but there is, quite a bit of blood in these photos. They are crime scenes. Go ahead, just because they are kind of grisly, give me a... Man, what would be there's not a constitution, is there?
Well, it's a sanity check normally. If you're
Yeah.
Is it
seeing
just a
something
sanity check?
particularly
Okay.
Yeah,
then
like bad, like
go ahead.
grisly stuff. Yeah.
Give me that sanity check.
I do not
That's-
need to make that because I have seen war.
Yep, you're fine.
I succeed barely,
Okay.
barely.
I'm going to say you lose one.
Sure.
Just
sure.
because it is startling. Like, the pictures that are actually printed are grainy enough that you really can't get a sense of how much blood there was, and they're small enough that maybe you don't necessarily recognize that what you're seeing is blood. You may have thought it was a shadow or something on the floor. Seeing the pictures in a little bit better detail, you can definitely see. And go ahead and give me that medicine check. And
I'm gonna use first aid because
Okay,
I
that's fine.
don't have very much medicine.
I'm good with that.
But it is an extreme success that I use my reroll for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. You can see that it looks like it was likely. You can't imagine any other implement besides a knife being used to remove it, but the edges are clean. Like, you can tell that it's like a rectangle. It's not just like, oh, skin was just skinned off. Like, it looks like somebody took the time to cut out a rectangle of this man's skin, and
I know we're not there, but for clarification, when that was just on one of the bodies, or all three bodies missing?
I was just on one of them.
Just on one of them. Thank you.
So, like, when we get back up to the office... Oh, I got an extreme success on my charm.
Okay.
But when we get back up to the office and kind of sit down with him, I will take out a flask and,
Okay.
like, unscrew the cap, take a nip, and then hand it over to him. Like, offer.
Okay. So I don't drink. Thank you, though. And he has softened a bit now that the money's out. He really, you could tell he was definitely offended. He doesn't like... I'm sure Mick gets a lot of flack for running the scoop anyway, for the type of paper it is. That
He doesn't...
then
add to that, yeah.
to him, he was like, that's just a further insult that you don't respect me as, like, I'm not respected as a purveyor of the news or of journalism. And so he was just...
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
He's not a mean guy, but he's trying to do his work, and that hit him wrong. So, but he shows you all the pictures, and he says, then, honestly, it's exactly as I said in the paper. It's gruesome, and they all three had papers on them. He has some notes detailing where their papers had said that they had been. They had each been traveling under the name of Mehmet Makriet. He also is able to give you information of where Mehmet Makriet, because he had a shop in London, the man. And so he can give you I lost the name of his shop. It just went, no, maybe it doesn't have a name. But he gives you the address of his shop. It's over north of King's Cross. It's up in Islington or Islington. I'm not sure how to say that properly. North of just about everywhere else that you all are.
Sure. So I believe that I've seen this man, this Mehmet, or at least a man that looks like him. Obviously,
Interesting.
they're someone, because they all do look Turkish, or at least.
Oh yeah, they all have, like, from what you can tell by the photographs in 1920 weren't great, but you're getting same. It looks like the same complexion, same style of mustache. They all do bear a very close resemblance. And again, the name Mehmet Makriet is definitely a foreign name.
Yeah. So I saw a man on a couple of occasions recently that looks very similar to this man. I would say identical, but the idea that there are 3, let alone 4, of the same man, that's a lot of fraternal twins. Right?
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of some strange cases where people see people of the same look outside their windows sometimes, or off in far off distances that move simultaneously, but I've never heard of anybody that this isn't this. This isn't this.
And what's even more interesting is that the last name is, I would assume, not extremely common.
No.
And it
Not
ties
at all.
to a story that I heard about Matthew Pook and the murder there from 1893.
Well, he nods to the box that's still in your hands, I assume, unless you passed it off to Emily.
Oh, I probably passed it off to Emily. I don't carry things.
Poor Emily.
One arm's
He's like,
in, and then with a cane.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome to go through the news. Again, that was before my time. I don't know every story that's passed through that we've printed in the years that the Scoop
of course.
has been.
I just would think that if there's a tie here, the Scoop would want to expose that and make sure that the news got out.
Well, it's not. I mean, it very well might if it proves. Yeah, if you can find the connection.
So I will
That's
pull
definitely
out
worth something.
the journal, Smith's journal,
Okay.
and say, this is an account of Julius Smith, Professor Dr. Julius Smith.
I've heard of Smith. I've heard of Smith and some of his researches. He's got some fanciful ideas. Sounds crazy, you know.
This is his account from 1893 from that murder scene, and I'll hand it over to him so he can read through it while we look through the box.
All right. So he takes the book and he flips through it, and he kind of sinks down into his chair, and he's got a cigarette, and he sets it on the table, and he is reading. He is rapt as he is immediately sunk into this, and he's just smoking, and you know, you hear the doorbell, the bell on the door ring a few times. You hear Alistair take money and and put it in the till, doing great customer service for an 8-year-old boy, and you all look through the box of 1893. So go ahead and give me some, either a library use. I'm going to go ahead and reuse that one, or give me a spot hidden.
We'll go with library use then. Oh, hey, look at that. It's actually a success. I'm going to spend 4 points of luck to drop it down to a hard success.
Okay.
Good, because I rolled like yeah.
Okay, no worries. It is very much, or you actually do find a record of Whitechapel of Dunbar Street. It's the body at Dunbar Street, and the article takes a lot of time to describe the monstrous creature that was found in the room of Dunbar Street, and mentions that, you know, no other paper will give them the news that there are monsters in our streets and things like that. And you do find the name of Matthew Pook is in there, and it doesn't have any of the other details about about the incident overall, of course. But it definitely talks about what they find there, and they've got many quotes from Mrs. Grimm and other tenants that were staying at that house at that time, and what they heard, and the descriptions of the men that were there. But it reads very much like the Weekly World News kind of stuff.
Are there any details in the article that are not in the journal? Like anything that maybe Smith didn't experience or didn't think to note?
They talk about hearing the moans and the shrieks and Smith was not super aware of all of that. Some of the men and the comings and goings of the men that were there Smith may have known about, but he didn't focus on as much.
Right.
But yeah, it's just there was the man with the top hat and the swallowtail coat that seemed to be the liaison for this other group. And then there was a group of 4 or 5 other men that were also coming and going. They were believed to be Turks. So you have that connection again, but nothing. It's more focused on the state of the body that was found and what it looked like. And I can show you a picture of what it looked like.
Well, definitely.
And then also, of course, Dr. Hobbs having his face literally bitten off.
Much, yeah.
And Mick is just like, this is fascinating.
And then once Emily and I assume that between the journal is much longer than the news article. So once
Absolutely.
Emily and I have both read through it and like have the details, I'll hand it to him and point and say, this is that exact thing. And I'm concerned.
Wow.
With the article being tied to another Quiett, that perhaps it ties into these murders of these 3 men.
Well, and the article doesn't mention Salim Quiett. You only have that name because the journal says yes, that is the reason why he couldn't. Yeah. The journal mentions it, but the article does not.
That's okay. I'm just trying to tie it together in Mick's mind so that he'll be a little more pliable. Like, so that he'll see the line that we're following here.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily need the notes you have are of the murders are great, and I don't need your source, but I want to confirm that your source is within the police. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a source, multiple sources within Scotland Yard, and I also have some sources that work at the hotels. So I mean, I've got people everywhere, as you have to.
Of course, no, and I just have you come across any other murders like this that skin has been removed? I mean, these look like perfect rectangles, and I'll point at his own paper.
Honestly, I haven't seen anything. I've seen horrible accidents where people have lost skin or
but
parts
we're not getting this information from the Times. We can only get it from you.
Of course. Well, and I'm being honest with you. I have not seen anything that looked like surgical skin removal, and quite frankly, if you ask me, that's what it almost looks like.
I have no knowledge of medicine, but I think that the Countess would agree with you on that. Or the Countess, my friend Emily.
Would she? Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask about the injuries of the other men, if they have anything quite as obvious.
No, they were all stabbed, and had their throats slit. So a little bit of an overkill situation. But
were they stabbed anywhere specific, like the same spot?
No.
Okay.
No, it was. I mean, once through the heart, just to make sure.
Okay.
It's impressive. It's hard to stab a man through the heart.
Not if you're real good at it, no. He doesn't say that.
We've solved it. It's him.
That's right. Yeah. He lets you look at what he has, and it's pretty much just more details about the bodies, and then again, like where they had traveled, and just to show that they did have, because he got like details off their passports and things like that. So he says it's the damnedest thing. I've never seen anything like this before. So
do the passport information all match up? Did they all come the exact same way? Or
Like their
have they
travel
been-
routes? No.
Yeah.
They all came from different places. But all their details were the exact same. And like I said, he gives you the name of, I believe it's called the Crescent Emporium or something like that. I lost it again. The Crescent Treasury, which is the antique shop where a Mr. Mehmet Makriet has had business up in Islington, and he gives you the address for that. But he's like, but looks like he's dead. So I don't know how much use that's going to be. I haven't had anybody go out that way yet to confirm, but it's been a bit busy.
Could I impose upon you? You have such a good network of contacts, and I don't want
Sure.
any of the information about who they are, but would it be possible for you to kind of put out the word that we're looking for another gentleman that looks just like these men, also probably going by the last name Makriet?
Sure. You have if you want to leave me your card, I can probably, as soon as I hear something. I mean, I do have people looking into some things, but I haven't heard back yet.
And if there's any expense, because I know sometimes in the process of looking into things, contacts incur expenses, I would be happy to pay for those. Of course.
If such a thing should arise, I'll be sure to send you a bill.
Excellent. I'll look over at Emily, like that. Like, have I missed anything? Which I do on a regular basis.
Well, I am sort of curious about what happened, or if you might know anything more about the mysterious disappearance of Mr. Smith, Professor Smith.
Oh, I heard that his house burned down. It's got to be the butler, right? The butler always did it.
I don't know. Beddoes seem to be quite close with Smith.
No, I've heard some rumors about how close he was. Yeah.
Well, let us not dive into rumors of a scandalous nature.
About that time, you hear the phone ring, and you hear Alistair out there. Hello, it's the Scoop. What's the scoop? and there's a and then Mr. Mick, you got a call. I don't know why I became an old woman there, but my voice ain't holding out.
7-year-old old woman, same difference.
It's all the smoke
Same
in
thing.
London.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, thanks, Alistair. I have to take that. If you have everything you need.
Yeah, I'll leave my contact information with him. Anytime, let me know, and I'd be happy to take care of whatever I need to.
Right. Have a good day. Just Mick, what's the scoop? And he's off on a phone call. Alistair hops down off the counter and returns to his sandwich board.
I'll collect the journal. Can't take the newspaper with us, I don't think, but I'll put it back in the box.
We have our notes, which is
Yeah.
about as best we can hope for.
Yeah, and then head out and go back home, I think.
All right,
Because
all
by
right.
now it's probably close enough to 5.
Sure. All right. Kelsey and Cleo, did you both return to the Countess's abode?
How long ago did I send that telegram? Days-wise, yesterday? The day before?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. If you want to
Okay.
stop by the telegram office to see if you've gotten a response, you can do
Sure.
that. Okay.
On the way back.
Sure. So you definitely did get a response, and
Nice.
sorry viewers and sorry other people, I'm going to drop this into Alyssa's folder real fast, and
Ooh,
you can
secrets.
choose to share it with
folder.
Let me find your
Super
folder
secret.
too. Where the hell is it? Secret. I got a secret. Let's see. Oh no, where is it? Oh,
For the
it's over
history
here.
of newspapers and how they store things, microfiche was first used back in 1853 to archive
Really?
newspapers. Yeah, so we would have probably been looking on this on microfish.
Do you
Okay,
think
well
he
there
could
you
be able
go.
to? Would he be able to afford microfishing it?
Really, it's a scoop.
I don't know. I assume so because it says almost all newspapers were using it by 53.
You know what? Sometimes those little salacious papers make money
They
because
want to
people
keep
love
records
that
of
shit.
stuff.
Yeah.
I should have looked that up. I really had no idea. I assumed microfiche was a much more recent development.
Yeah, I thought so too, but they found it. They discovered it in 1829. Like,
wow,
that seems real freaking early. But hey,
it
that's
does.
awesome.
So yeah, you were sitting at one of those things and you were just scrolling through.
Yeah.
Scrolling through I have never used microfiche, but I've always wanted to. But I don't know what I would. I
I
have
did,
no need to use it.
I did for a school project. Went to the library and went through their microfiche, and it was actually kind of cool.
Nice. Did
So.
you get that telegram, Cleo?
Hold on, I'm gonna reload this because I think I went in too early. There we go.
Yeah, I
Telegram
did
Cleo.
just drop it in. So.
Oh right, I forgot to put the stops. She
That's
wouldn't
all right.
have, though.
She
just
wouldn't
did.
have. No, I. It was good. It was good. So, yeah. So you did get a response. It's up to you if you decide to share that with anybody. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to y'all being at the Countess's house, though. We good? All right.
I was good until I read Greg's comment. Boo,
Yeah.
Greg, boo.
Oh no, what did he say?
He said he had microfish when he was young. They were called guppies.
Gross.
And then
We called them sea monkeys
Sea monkeys. Yep.
when I was a kid. I never had a successful batch of sea monkeys. I picked them up from the top and forgot that the top came off. And then they all died in our carpet.
Wow.
They suffered the worst kind of apocalypse.
Yeah.
They really did. I felt horrible. All right, so you all return to the Countess's to kind of debrief one another about what your findings. And I'm sure there's the staff have made some type of like late lunch, early dinner type thing that you guys are dining.
Do
And,
I?
go ahead.
Has Emily made it clear that there's more security, or did you just hire people and tell me they were servants?
That is entirely up to you. How much would Johanna care?
I don't care either way. It's just a matter of whether you're telling me that I have more people watching me or not. Because you know that I'm not a fan of that, but also at this point,
They would be watching the residents outside primarily,
Okay.
not in internal staff.
yeah,
Yeah,
good.
Johanna sits down at the table and there's like 5 people just standing along the wall watching her eat, and she's like, I don't know any of you.
Oh yeah. So when we come to the house, I will nod at them and I'll say, "Thank you, Miss Brandt. I'm beginning to be concerned for our safety."
So, yeah, so you all meet and you're around the dining table. Are you
I've cleaned up since.
good? Yeah, you had time to,
De-suited?
wash
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I washed the professor's house off of myself.
I'll pull out like the calendar book, his meetings and the journal, and then I just assume that I'll toss the paper from the blotter in the fireplace. I want it burned
Okay.
and gone.
That's
There's
fine.
no reason to keep it.
I'm assuming that wasn't something important. Counting
The professor wrote down our addresses and contact information on his planning or his blotter planner, and I didn't wish it to be left there in case whoever went after him needs to track down more information.
That is good thinking. Appreciate that.
That's also why I took his calendar book. The journal has his notes on what happened in the room with Mr. Pook's body. We found that all at the office. We also stopped by the scoop.
Oh, was that successful?
The scoop had more information. that the Times did not, specifically that one of the bodies was missing part of their skin. I'll kind of flip open the newspaper and like point out the pictures.
That's horrific.
It's not comfortable for sure. But beyond that, Mick over at the Scoop had a couple of leads. Mehmet had a shop north of King's Cross, and that he was normally going regularly a customer at the Crescent Treasury, which I think we knew about the Crescent Treasury already, but I
don't think we had the name. I don't think we had the name, but you knew that Mr. Quiett did run a store in Islington, and the Scoop just had the name of it.
And I also asked Mick, does Mick have a last name?
If he does, I don't know it. I can look it up. It's not in this adventure at all.
Okay.
Ooh, that was. I just remember him from when we met him in the other adventure, so I was like, I'll use him.
Yeah.
Mick is actually his last name and first name.
Mick.
I'm Mickey Mick.
It's Michael
I'm Mickey
Mick.
McMickelson.
It's just like Cher. It's just Mick.
Yeah, he's
Mahoney.
developed...
It's Mickey Mahoney.
Mickey Mahoney.
That sounds right.
Mr. Mahoney.
Oh damn! I should have done my Irish for him, not some gruff old English. Done that inconsistent Irish accent that I do every now and again, but I have to do this. I don't know why. To get the Irish diddly dee. It's very rude. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Chai. Yeah. Mr. Mahoney also.
We're terrible people.
We are. I'm at least Irish, so I feel like I'm making fun of myself.
I technically am too. I'm Irish and Norwegian. God help me. I can't see the sun.
Yeah. I feel that Mr. Mahoney, or I also asked Mr. Mahoney to put feelers out for another person that matches this description. Having looked at the pictures in the Scoop, this is the gentleman that I saw at the Challenger lecture and at the bookshop. And I'll like point him out to Cleo, like the face. I mean, he does look the same, doesn't he, Cleo?
He looks the same.
So I guess your suspicions were justified. He was up to no good.
Yes, it's always nice to know that I wasn't paranoid. I was just prepared. So that is the information we gathered. I am hoping to hear back from Mr. Mahoney soon.
Well, I mean, your fishing expedition was way more successful than ours. The house is a total loss.
Did you notice any indication of a body in the house?
Not that we found. I mean, I went up the stairs. I could go into the first 2 rooms upstairs, but the floors were caving in. I mean, the whole building was just moments away from collapsing.
I see.
It was arson, though. There were fire bottles everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Multiple. It looks like it was definitely it was more than a one-person job. There was more than one disgruntled student torching this house.
Okay.
While you all are dining and going over things, Emily, you do take note. Well, give me a listen check, Emily.
That is a normal success.
You hear, just on the edges of your hearing, you do note that there is a knock, likely at the front door, and you hear someone kind of go to answer it. Nobody else seems to have heard anything.
Any guests.
You were not. Do you want to go to the door, or do you want to just wait and see if someone comes?
The polite thing to do is wait. But
okay.
At the ready, I want to say.
Okay. Well, you hear the door open. You hear brief muffle of voices, and then one of the other staff comes in, and they hand you a small card or a small envelope, and they say, "This was just delivered, ma'am." And you are handed a simple envelope, and yeah. Do you hold it, or do you want to open it? Or
I would like to open it. Is it addressed from anyone, or is it just blank?
It actually lists Ms. Bront, Miss Stodd, Mr. Haskins, and Ms. Dandridge. In kind of a nice hand, but it also seems to be a bit hurried.
Would it match the handwriting in any diary we've recently seen?
It does not.
Would it match the handwriting that's on the back of that picture?
It would.
Nice. We'll have to have talked with Beddoes about my proper title.
In that case, let us Emily would open it with everybody present.
Okay. Inside, it's just a simple card. It is Professor Smith's calling card, which you're very familiar with. There is a let's see. There was a wax seal closing the envelope. You open it, pull out the card. I will send you guys what this looks like in at the end of the show, but it says very, very quickly, "Come at once. I haven't long. For God's sake, let no one follow you. J.A. Smith." And on the back of the card is also his. It's an address in a low-class area of London known as Cheapside. Hence why I said the wrong thing. Sorry, guys.
At first, I thought he was just like, "Come at once," and that was it. And I was like, "We don't have an address."
Where are we supposed to go? No, the address is on the back.
Smith. He did have a saved house.
I received this, and she now at this point will take out the telegram.
Okay.
And she'll put it down and explain that she and her mentor speak in some version of code. Often if they are writing sensitive things. And Cleo utilizes the name Puck, P-U-C-K, if she doesn't want anyone to peek into her stuff. And so it reads, Puck, Brit space Ain, Britain, great for Muse space Ing, don't neglect your reading. And she puts it down and she says, I need to pull up the exact wording that I put on my
I'm gonna call one of the maids to hire like a carriage.
Do you want me to get the guy who delivered it? It was a cab driver.
No. Someone else.
That was fast. No.
No. I did reference briefly the British Museum in my first telegram. And so my mentor could be referring to reading up on the British Museum, or my mentor could be referring to reading up on the 9 muses of Greek and Roman culture.
It's also the reading room is attached to the British Library, right?
No, there actually is a reading room at the British Museum.
Okay.
But you have to have access to it, which I think we discussed the Countess does.
Yes. It might also... There is a reading room at the museum that I have access to. Would have access to a lot of the harder to find works. But that's there's a lot there. I don't know what we would read specific, or you would read specific.
Perhaps something Greek?
Perhaps.
Could be. I don't want to keep us from, our current task of what we're doing. Just
We should
didn't want to keep secrets.
The lot of you have weapons, yes? Just in case.
Yeah. Kind of opens her vest.
Don't
or whatever.
worry.
She has a little pistol.
I have my gun with me, always.
She gestures
Americans.
toward like all of her components. And she's like, "Yes, I have weapons."
Americans.
I gesture at Emily.
You will want to be armed, just in case.
I actually probably pull up my leg on my trousers, and there's a little gun there, and like a couple of throwing knives next to it.
I was gonna say, I remember those throwing knives.
Yeah.
I just want to be certain in case, hopefully there will be no violence, but
Well, given what Professor Smith has endured, I'm not discounting the possibility of violence.
So do you go?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. You gather your things. Whatever you believe you'll need, weapons, note-taking implements, whatever you think you are about to walk into. And you make your way to the address in Cheapside.
And while we're driving, I'm going to have my head on a swivel, make sure that nothing is obviously following us.
Sure. It doesn't seem that anything is following you. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it.
Cut
You
out
cut out.
Roxy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for it.
Okay.
You don't see. And I'm gonna say that just knowing Kelsey, even if he thinks that there's somebody following, that he's like he taps on the side of the I guess we're not in. I don't know why I'm thinking carriages. It would probably be cabs, right? There were cars in 1923. And he taps the guy, and he's like kind of make a loop-de-loop here. Don't, double back for a little bit. And I'm sure he is paid accordingly for his extra time.
And Cleo sort of has her
Her
spidey senses.
Her spidey senses are out. Her
It's like
sense.
she's not looking with her eyes, she's trying to sense if there's anything either following them or around, anything of the spiritual. Or
right now,
supernatural
everything feels and everything seems pretty normal. It's an uneventful cab ride, except for where Kelsey has him double back a little bit. But you don't see anybody following you, and you arrive at a bed-sitting room in a grimy building in Cheapside after, some time. It's an undistinguished street. It's nothing fancy at all. I mean, it's the exact opposite of fancy. It's pretty run down, but nothing that really calls attention to it. You would never have looked twice, to be honest.
Professor
And you would
smarter
not.
than I thought.
Yeah, you would never expect Professor Smith or Beddoes to frequent or know of anyone living or stay in this area at all. It just seems very unlike them. Do you knock on the door? Do you...
Can we do
Enter-
a quick check around the block just to make sure?
Okay. Sure. You don't see anything. Everything seems good. Does anybody have... Oh no. It's not survival in this game. There is a survival skill.
There is
but
a
it's not
survival.
There's
Do you have
survival.
it?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and roll a survival check and just see if you can... Go ahead
You're
and see.
on that.
Yeah. I do have that. Let me roll it now.
I'm going to need to spend 12 points of luck, but I will make it a success.
Hey, that's fine. You'll get it back. Our chat is great with luck advances, and like we said, we grant those at the beginning of every session because, it's useful. It's very useful. So, you don't see anything, nothing. You see people that you assume live there, but they don't really pay you any mind. Although you do look kind of fancy, so some of them kind of look at you in... It's the kind of leer that is not the one that you're on the alert for. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, you either want to rob me.
Advances.
Oh, did we get one?
David just gave us one, and so did Mooncrow.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah.
What is wrong with you two? Okay, well, you guys are fine. So roll 2d6 and add it to your luck.
We can't go over 100 though, right?
No.
Or can we?
If you guys are maxed out, I'm going to stop doing ones at the top of the show.
I'm at
Oh, I'm not
88
maxed
right
out.
now.
Don't worry about that.
I will happily
guys
burn
gotta-
them.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just my question for me
That was just you.
because I have maxed.
Oh, wow.
Well, your dice are better than ours.
Yeah.
It's true.
That is true. Your dice have been super hot.
So there'll be that one session where you go from 100 points of luck to 0.
It could happen. Could happen.
Dice can turn at any moment.
They can. So you don't see anything. Everything seems fine. I'm going to say, Emily, that you are fully into that kind of bodyguard governess mode where you are very aware of what's going on around you. If anybody were to try to approach your party, you would know before they realized that, before they really even knew what was going on. So you're good. You go up to the house and you knock on the door. After a moment, it cautiously begins to open, and you see the face of Beddoes appear, and they're just like, "Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming." And
Meadows, you're safe.
he opens the door a little more, and you see that his hands are bandaged, and he looks like he's not gotten much sleep. He looks very. He just doesn't look well. If anybody wants to give me like a psychology or psychoanalysis roll to kind of get a read on him, he's like, "Thank you so much for coming."
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
That's a
I will
regular
also
success
say-
for psychoanalysis.
Okay, cool. So mostly no's except for one. Alla, did you miss it too, or did you get it? No.
Oh,
okay.
I rolled like a 90 something. So.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you can tell that he is very, very nervous, very concerned. You have gotten a feel for how fond he is of Julius, and you feel that because you know of this whole situation that's gone on, and you see his hands, and they likely were burned, is why they're bandaged up. That nervousness and concern can easily be attributed to what they've been enduring, if indeed he is here. But remember, Professor Smith did sign the card, so
Yeah.
Oh, and just to have it out in the open, can I have asked our driver to remain about a block away
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
on standby because we'll need a ride back if
Sure,
we need to get out
absolutely.
of here in a hurry.
He does so, and you see him go off and maybe turn a corner, but you do see the tail end of the cab, just around the bend, before it goes out of sight by a building. So he leads you in, and he's like, I'm sure you've heard about the house. It was
been there.
horrible. Oh, you've been there.
We're trying to find you.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't want to reach out too soon. Something very gravely is wrong, and the professor's in here. He has asked to speak with you. And he leads you in to a room, and the professor is sitting in a kind of shadowed part of the room, but there is light from the window kind of filtering in, and something's not quite right. You can see that he is been terribly burned. The skin of the side of his face that you can see is distorted and stretched and grossly, the texture is not, and it's all fresh. It's like a bright red. It's got a slight glisten to it. The drapes are almost entirely pulled, but there is some light, and you can see you do recognize him under the injuries. And he's I'm sorry I said he was sitting, but he's actually in the bed, and his breathing is coming in wheezes and rasps. Go ahead and give me a sanity check for just because, not you, Emily, but the intense burns on the face are, and there is the smell of burnt flesh in the room.
Can we spend luck on sanity?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Oh, you can?
You can. You will still lose sanity, but you can negate the loss with luck.
Okay.
Is it extra? It's like it's
double. It's twice the amount you're going to lose. You spend that in luck to avoid the luck or the.
I failed my sanity roll.
Okay.
I succeeded.
Those of you who succeeded, you don't lose any. If you didn't succeed, and if you want to negate it, Shawn, give me roll
Or Greg is going to give us a reroll in the chat.
Let's try it.
We have guys, and you have 3. So
Yeah.
Shawn, if you wanted to use one of the ones on the table, but we'll take Greg's.
No, we'll stick with the. That was a 91.
Okay. Well, so just for the loss or the negation, whichever you choose to take, go ahead and give me a d6.
I'm gonna spend 4 points of luck to negate the 2 that I rolled.
Okay, there you go.
That's cost,
that works. As you look at him, his eyes are swollen shut. His hand moves a little bit to acknowledge that you've arrived, and that you're in the room. And thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming. Were you followed?
Lord, you need to be in a hospital, man.
Emily's already rolling up her sleeves, like first aid kit.
Okay, go ahead. Give me a first aid roll, actually.
You know what? It's a hard success, but I'm going to bump it up to an extreme success.
Nice.
Okay. For your first aid roll, as you're looking, there's not much that you can do that will change. One thing you do notice is that one of the reasons that he does look off is not just the burns, but his sideburns and mustache have all been seared away.
No, not that mustache.
Some of it might grow back, but
you do see on the side table there are supplies for treatments of burns, including bottles and tubes to administer a salt and protein solution intravenously, as well as morphine and other drugs. Go ahead and give me a medicine roll too. Anybody can give me a medicine roll if you want.
Trained, but
it's fine.
Okay, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I can always roll a 1, right?
I rolled a 2, and I'm gonna make that a 1.
Nice. Yes. All you're gonna really learn is that Beddoes knows what he's doing. He's dealt with this kind of thing before.
But more importantly, you get to check the box.
Yeah.
That's like
yeah. Check the box. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. By the way, check all your boxes, guys, for all the stuff that you've succeeded on tonight.
I am intimately familiar with this sort of wound. She has her own quite distinctive facial scarring.
Sure.
She will do whatever she can to like assist her and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you guys, he is very again he's very wheezy. His words come in gasps. He's trying to, like, his normal booming voice is just gone. Like, and that whole, you can tell that he is in a lot of pain and things are very different. He struggles to sit up to talk to you. Beddoes kind of rushes forward to help him up, and he sits on the bed and thank you for coming. I need to. There's so much that I need to say, and I don't think I have much time. And and his voice is just, the more he talks, the hoarser it gets. But he is, Beddoes gives him some water. He's trying to, he says, more water, please. And he wants to continue. You can tell he's got something to say and that he wants to convey, and he's afraid that he's not going to be able to give it out. If you just let me speak and not ask questions, I will answer what I can after. But let me just tell you. And he's going to tell you next week because it is 8 o'clock. But yeah, so that was our show for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. You have found the professor. He's gone. He's been found. Found Beddoes. Beddoes looks better than Professor Smith. Like, he does not have all the burns. It's just you presume his hands are what got injured the most. But the professor is in a bad way. In a real bad
Sounds
way.
like it.
So even with your ministrations, Emily, and what Beddoes has done, it's not looking good. It looks like he was in the middle of the fire when it broke out.
Honestly, I'm impressed that Beddoes was able to do all of this with his hands all burned.
With burned
as well.
hands, right?
Yep.
So we will pick up again there in Cheapside and find out what Professor Smith is dying to tell you next time.
Literally.
I was going to say.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, boo. But thank you all for joining me again. Thank you to my wonderful players, Alyssa, Alla, Shawn, and Matt. I have a great time every week. I hope you're enjoying our story, players, and chat. Thank you for being so active tonight. I love peeking in every now and again. Again, I can't watch chat too close, but because I got a lot on my mind. I'll start transposing more locations and creating connections where there aren't any. But thank you so much for joining us. Please tune in next week at 5 p.m. Eastern for more of Horror on the Orient Express. Star Trek tomorrow night at 7. 7th Sea Tuesday night at 8. Ninjas Thursday night at 7. And Battletech next Saturday. We love you all. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe out there. And stay warm if it's cold where you are. And if it's hot where you are, stay cool. So we love you, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.